My friends, there is no denying that there is an oppressive darkness, anger, and fear swirling around our communities currently. It seems logic and unity has all but disappeared and left us huddled in our own small circles, becoming more and more stifled and isolated each passing day. For the last several months, we've watched the virus not only take the lives of many of our friends and family, but worse, we've watched it take the faith and hope of many of them as well. The anxiety surrounding this invisible adversary has stolen away our ability to attend Mass and the sacrament of reconciliation at the prompting of the state, and, unfortunately, with the concession of many of the church leaders. Because of this, a gap in grace has been created that has tipped the scales toward lukewarmness and obscurity when it comes to our faith. We have also witnessed in the passing weeks our brothers and sisters in the streets separated by deception, panic, and the angry spewings and actions of the few that have divided the many. One nation under God, indivisible, seems to have faded as quickly and as assuredly as the pledge that used to contain these very words. However, as all of this takes place day after day, I believe that there is still a way to restore the peace and hope that we continue to search for, but at the same time have continued to ignore. As a Catholic, I believe we can begin to address these attacks on our communities by first asking this simple question. What do we see when we walk into a Catholic church in the middle of a weekday when the Mass is not going on? If you are lucky enough to find a church unlocked in the middle of a weekday, you will probably see what most of us see: an empty church. An empty church with the most powerful being in all of creation, who is creation, sitting alone in a small box, most likely in a corner, wondering why no one is coming to see him. The one who sacrificed all to redeem all, who loves all, is silently waiting for any type of interaction with the people whom he died for. You might think to yourself, if we can only get more people into the church to meet Jesus, to just walk through those doors to have a personal encounter with him, they would see how he could change their lives and give us back that peace and joy we long for. That would make all the difference. But in final analysis, we are simply not bringing people through the doors as fast or as frequent enough to allow Jesus to impact their lives. Our efforts at evangelization have fallen miserably short, especially in the light of those evangelists who have come before us. Great saints and redeemed sinners who have had the courage to lay it all on the line to bring the light to the world. A light that would illuminate the darkness we are in right now. The light that could be our weapon to defeat the disunities in all of our communities. A weapon of mass construction that would rebuild the broken relationships and infuse love back into our neighborhoods instead of the hate that resides there now. What is this weapon of light I am speaking of? He is the same lonely creator and redeemer that is sitting in our empty churches and waiting to be freed. Jesus Christ in the Blessed Sacrament needs to be brought out of the churches and back into our communities if we want to turn the tides of our current oppression. That is why I am proposing the Lux Liberate campaign. Lux Liberate is a Latin term for free the light, which is exactly what needs to happen. This campaign is based on the absolute belief that a face-to-face encounter with Jesus Christ will transform hearts, minds, souls, and change entire lives, nations, and the world. As Catholics, we are all called to be missionaries. Our country and communities have become the new missionary grounds. We need the light and the love of Christ in the Blessed Sacrament out on our streets, and we need to be the ones to do it. It's not as much of a revolutionary idea as you would think, nor would we be reinventing the wheel. Eucharistic processions have been around for centuries, as well as many documented accounts of miracles surrounding the Blessed Sacrament. So a missionary endeavor with Christ leading the charge is our surest way to victory and is exactly what is needed. The revolutionary part of the campaign, however, is found in the implementation and aftercare. Here's how it breaks down. First, your church needs a few courageous, mission-minded parishioners and priests to acquire a map of your entire parish boundaries. These are the areas of your community that your church is expected to serve. Once you have that map, plan out the first area that you will bring our Lord through. Your goal is to blanket the entire parish area, from boundary to boundary. Obviously, your team will not be able to accomplish this in one procession. My proposal is 4 processions spread out through the year, each with the same goal until you have covered it all. The times of the year will be during 4 solemnities of the church: the Epiphany of our Lord, the most holy body and blood of Christ, the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the universe. In each procession, there will be volunteers designated to hand out and deliver invitations to individuals and families within the neighborhood for a meeting at your parish to discuss the next phase of the mission, which is how together we will inject love back into our communities by focusing on the 4 classic types of love adopted from the Greeks, essentially storge, filio, eros, and agape. Each type of love will dictate how we approach this mission in our community. Storge will emphasize on strengthening the love within the family unit. Filio will inspire and develop healthy friendships with all different types of people, colors, creeds, and orientations. Eros will concentrate on building the marriage relationship of a man and a woman. Finally, agape will concentrate on understanding and deepening our love for God, which will no doubt affect all other areas of love in our neighborhoods and communities. So there it is, a solid plan to bring the light of Christ and love back into our communities. Yes, it is out-of-the-box thinking. Yes, it is a much different approach than has ever been taken. But let me ask you, don't you think it's time? We need to get our entire communities focused on taking care of each other. I cannot think of a better way to do that than having Christ meet people in the streets and invite them to remember how to love your neighbor. That is still what we are called to do as Christians, right? If you believe this and you are interested in starting this in your parish community, please hit the link below to take the next step in starting this mission. God bless you, your families, and all of your communities.